Hello again. Welcome. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is. I don't know anymore. Am I hungover? Am I still drunk? Am I getting drunk? Last night was a disaster, and today we've got a guest on called Ben. You may know him from Twitter. He's probably going to erupt and have a mental breakdown. So either way, we'll have a laugh. It'll be fun. Are you ready to go? Because I am. This is going to be a cracker. So let's do it. This is Let's Talk Football on MUFC TV. Let's go. Jody, how you doing, buddy?
It's a weird one to do, actually, to be fair. I was happy I didn't do any shows last night. I didn't have any reactionary statements on Twitter or social media last night. I was very political and on the fence last night, to be fair, because I watched of that game, I watched the whole, trust me, I was in one of the most beautiful parts in the world, on a beach, turtle watching, because it only happens for a few months a year in the Caribbean. Yeah. And I watched that game live on a beach, on my phone, and I was embarrassed.
I'm surprised you didn't drown yourself, Jody.
To be fair, if I could have walked off and taken that drop off the north coast of Trinidad and Tobago, which is like 400 or 500 meters drop off. So you walk like 30 meters and there's a drop off of like 400 or 500 meters up the north coast. Yeah. If I could have walked that drop off and taken it yesterday, I would have. It was so embarrassing, to be honest with you. I was absolutely gutted. So, I mean, I've watched the game. I didn't make any reactionary statements. I basically I had a bit of banter yesterday with a Tottenham supporter, and then obviously I watched the game, the full game twice last night and again this morning, and I've got to say, I'm going to be going in on it today.
Good lad, good lad. It's good to have you back on again. I know you couldn't make the last one.
Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't. Commitments, but I'll be back on.
Yeah.
Do you know we had a really good scheduled show today, didn't we? We had it was about to be, we're going to bring our usual journalist on and have a good show, and then Liverpool.
I know, it's Monday, isn't it?
It's Monday. It's our journalist show, and those bin dippers
my show. That's my bad. My illness pushed everything back a week.
No, it's not the It's the fact that the bin dippers had to go and ruin it yesterday.
Yeah.
To be fair, well, it's not really the bin dippers when I go into this. When we look at it from a tactical point of view, can't really blame the bin dippers.
But we have got Jack Talbot coming on next Monday.
We have indeed
as well. So yeah, we've got him coming on next Monday. Let's bring in Ben, the reactionary United fan. Very vocal, and this should be fun. Ben, how you doing, buddy? Nice to have you on, mate.
Hey, Ben, how you doing, bud?
Embarrassed, ashamed, fucking don't want to go out of my fucking house. Got bantered off Liverpool fans. I even got bantered off Arsenal fans yesterday on WhatsApp. Got a couple of Liverpool fans still sending me shit on WhatsApp. I'm going to end up blocking them if they carry on. It's all banter, but at the end of the day, fucking hell, I don't know. I feel like that goal they scored completely fucking shocked the whole squad right before half time, and they never recovered. And then after that, it was just a fucking free for all. It was borderline Ralph Ragnick. It really fucking was. And
we'll get into that then. But I mean, it might be some credit, but I did. I got involved in my first Manchester United watch along last night on a different show, and that was my first time, and we lost 7-0. So I need to go on again just to prove I'm not a fucking jinx.
You're blight, bro. You're blight.
Yeah. Mick Ruby as well is also here. He's going to have his say. Mick, how you doing, buddy?
Good evening, gentlemen, or should I do good evening? Yeah, guys.
Shit, mate.
Yeah, I know. I'm so proud of, we have Trinidad Tobago in the house. I'm in Thailand. You guys in Manchester, in UK, different time zones. It's 8 o'clock my time. Yeah, I echo what everyone is saying. I echo what Jody was saying. I've been hiding today. I've been hibernating. I was forced to
I
do.
said I was hiding. I never once said I was hiding. I
No,
wore my shirt proudly yesterday and this morning. It's only because I have
yeah,
after this. I've got a polo on. I'll
yeah.
still wear my United shirt, to be honest
But
with you. I think
painful as it is, like I was gassed up, I was pumped up. We did the preview show. We even had David Labelle on, the football agent, who is actually a Liverpool supporter. He put his hand up and to say 3-1 Manchester United, and I felt comfortable. So like, yeah, I agree. First half, yeah, uh, we were totally on top of that game. They had one shot on target, and then ball went in. And I agree what Ben was saying. But you know what? Monday today, this is a church, and this is where we heal our hurts. What we're saying, and MUFC Realist TV, and I bet you Monday morning the players waking up, Erik ten Hag in a dressing room, and there's no hairdryer big enough in that dressing room to blow some sense in the players' minds. But when Erik ten Hag will finish blowing, I bet you he will shape that squad to the image of him, bald. To be honest,
No,
now
well, go on.
it was just shambles to be say. Like, never did we expect this to be humiliated with the 7-0, but it
you
comes
said,
down to complacency. It
let
comes
me ask
down.
you a question. Why were you not expecting this?
Not 7-0 though.
Why
I
were you
was,
not expecting this was coming?
because we've been on
It was always coming. The signs were always there.
yeah. I mean,
The signs were always there. The signs have been there for the last 10 to 15 games. The sign have been there. If a team gets at us properly, we'll get humiliated. The signs were
yeah,
always there for weeks now, months.
Yeah, but for 44 minutes of that game, they didn't get us. They didn't break us down. They didn't. They had a lot of possession, but if you look
they
at that
didn't.
44 minutes, if you look at that, they did it. They had more possession than us. But if you look at that 44 minutes, who, Rashford, clear on goal from Shaw's ball. If that had gone in, you're looking at a totally different game. There's
But
just
Well,
go.
I'm not.
Ben,
Going
in that
forward, there was
44
just no
in that
conviction.
44 minutes though, in that
To be
44
fair,
minutes,
absolutely
they had
cut
7
apart.
shots, 0 on target. We had 4 shots, 3 on target. Now we fucked up a lot there because I've counted the occasions watching the game last night.
The attacking
There was
threat.
4 or 5 occasions where they fucked up at the back, was sloppy. It was going all over the place in their own 6-yard box, and we didn't capitalise on any of them. Absolutely none of them.
Yeah,
But
I will go.
I kind of disagree. The warning signs from the get-go was the first.
But how many times have we all sat here and well, not here, but how many times have we all said to each other on Twitter or on Spaces or anything, United need to start taking their chances. And I know it sounds a bit stupid because we've
for months now on Twitter, and when we do our space,
Yeah, it's fine.
on the space.
Can I get back to you, Jody, on your question?
Sure.
Which question?
Oh man.
Why I expected basically. To be fair, like yeah, this was coming. It's like what I said in the morning show as well. Like anyone that's a boxer that goes 12 rounds, like do you expect to get a uppercut and get knocked down in a round, right? But to be knocked down by Liverpool with 7-0, I didn't expect that, to be honest. Like most of the fan base, everyone was confident based on the run of form that we were in. We won the cup. We knocked out West Ham, and we are advancing the quarterfinal of FA Cup. We are in the deep stages on Europa League. So, barring on their form and our form, of course, form goes out the window. But was I fearful that we will lose? No. Minimum a draw. But it's just a matter of how we lost at the end of the day. And I agree what Naill was saying. It was uncontrolled. It was like playing pinball. It was like pinball football. Like that ball kept bouncing back and forward, and we kept slipping over left, right, center. Nobody was at the races, not even Ten Hag, not even his coaching staff. We're talking about Van der Gaag. We're talking about McLaren. We're talking about even Benny McCarthy, right? And the worst part of it all, it's just the down tooling of their heads after the 2-0 went down, and the camera zooms in on Kenny Dalglish smirking, right? And then you see another replica of Sir Alex going like this, right? Yeah. So it's just like I can have taken 7-0 against any other team, but not Liverpool, mate. That's all I have to
Here's
say.
the thing: the signs were already there prior to the game. They had won the game against West Ham, and the arrogance was too much. The arrogance of all the managers come down to his staff, to his players, were too much before the game. You had Erik Sabitzer talking about how he's going to score against Liverpool. You're talking about players who said, Ten Hag turned around saying, Marcus Rashford, he hasn't scored at Anfield yet, but he'll score tomorrow. He'll score on Sunday. The arrogance coming into the game, they were too boastful, they were too cocky, and we know it.
But Jody, you got to remember is like, you go back years and years and years under Fergie, we had arrogance going to Anfield. Like, you know, I always say, we'll win. I know where you I do understand where you're coming from, but because of social media, it's hyped up.
Team under Erik ten Hag. If it was 3 years down the line in Erik ten Hag's reign, I would understand the difference. But this is a new team who've just won a couple of games, won a cup. Yes, they've won a cup, and you have to applaud them. It's the first step into going back to where the levels we want to be.
Yeah, it is. But also, you've got to also look at it like here. Regardless of that, you're still playing your fiercest rival at their home, and to let your heads drop that low and to be humiliated like that. And it's like everyone keeps coming back. And it's like when Keane said, leopards don't change the spots. And it's that mentality again of, fuck, we've let 2 goals in now, fuck it, game's over sort of thing. And
I do think there's complacency because we won a cup, we beat Barcelona with
100%.
that Barcelona game is basically a European final. Let's be honest. That match should have been in the Champions League, and it probably should have been a semi-final or a final. We won it, and then Liverpool have been in shit form. I think we have just gone into it overconfident.
Well, wait, Liverpool been in shit form. That's the problem.
Also worth to mention, and we are on a rebuild. We haven't even hit the peak of our rebuild as of yet. So, you know, this was bound to happen. We were bound to lose sooner or later. But
this statement that Liverpool have been in shit form is a myth. Their form is the last 6 games. If you look at their last 6 games, they've only conceded in one of those games. That was against Real Madrid. Every other game they've won. So say they're in shit form is wrong.
They've been coming into form, but they've not been the best. They're not the Liverpool of last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
But the problem was you're looking at the start of the season when they were poor and where they've ended up. Now you're not looking at the last 6 games. Form is always based on the last 6 games, and I think people turn around and say, Liverpool.
I personally think the whole Liverpool thing with how they started in the start of the season up to probably just before the World Cup. I think it was down to shell shock of almost being that close to winning the quad, and then boom. They were always going to find their feet again. Fucking hell, they could even get top 4 now with that win against us. You know, Ten Hag has got this now is a bigger job than losing 4-0 to Brentford and 6-3 to City, because this just isn't another team that you've lost to. This is Liverpool you've lost to, and it's the manner in which you've lost to. I think that this is where we now start to see how ruthless Erik ten Hag's going to be now, because
thank you, Ben.
He could have literally yesterday gone, every single fucking one of you, apart from the players that I've signed, are all getting sold in the summer, because it was just absolutely pitiful.
Didn't it come out that he actually said something on them lines last night?
No, he basically turned around and said after he tore
Indie Killer put it out, didn't he?
He was pissed.
I don't know how it
tear dry against him, didn't he, in the changing room afterwards?
Yeah, he said if you're not up for the fight, you can fuck off.
Look,
there was a quote of that. I think I tweeted.
Well, that's what I said with the hairdryer analogy. Like, there's no bigger enough hairdryer. Once it's finished blowing the sensors, they're all going to be bald. That's what I'm saying. I do expect punishment.
And do you know what?
As a fan, there's 2 fixtures that we look forward to in the season: Liverpool
Yeah.
home, Liverpool away. Now,
Yeah, agreed.
the players do not understand the importance of that fixture, then they shouldn't be playing for Man United.
That's why Erik Ten Hag said, didn't he, after the game? Most importantly, we've let the fans down because they, to them, this is their. Everyone knows when that fixture list comes out in June, the first 2 games we look for is City away, Liverpool away, and Liverpool at home. They're the ones I look for, and then I'll look for Leeds.
Our rivals, neither's Arsenal, neither's Chelsea, neither's Spurs. None of these banter clubs are our rivals. They may talk now, but let's be honest. Historically, the majority of Manchester know Liverpool's the only game we look forward to because we're historic clubs.
Yeah, that's what it is.
In England.
It's rivalry between honours. I mean, no one's close.
If you go, I did a morning show this morning when I woke up and I digested, and I said that, Jody, as well. I said, the man of the match was the away-going fans, right? Imagine sitting there in Anfield, being swallowed up by that hostile environment, and then walk out on the Liverpool street. Everyone that's been there, it's not fucking easy to walk up after a loss against Liverpool. It's very foul, right?
They're the fans I feel sorry for the most.
For all the match-going fans, and big up for the global fan base, because we are the ones that are suffering.
A WhatsApp chat, and I'll snapshot it and post it up. I said in a WhatsApp chat after 15 minutes, I said it's not a matter when Liverpool score, it's how much they're going to score right now. And that was after 15 minutes I said that, because you saw in the first 15 minutes Daly being exposed 2v1 and Anthony wasn't running back, and you saw that was going to happen. He wasn't.
Jody, honestly, I could not understand for the fucking life of me why Aaron Wan-Bissaka didn't play yesterday.
But you can't blame Daly. People are blaming Daly, but if the problem is you're going to leave him 2v1 or 3v1,
I just don't think it was the game for him, mate. I just don't. He gets lost too much sometimes. He gets a bit too emotional. I'm not blaming Daly. They're all to blame. The whole lot of them are to blame. 100%. Everyone's to blame. But I do think to shore that defence up and to have a defence that's going to be a bit more solid, I would have played Aaron Wan-Bissaka. That's just my personal opinion on it. I would have, because of how he just how he could break play up in midfield as well.
It's not a case of that. That's the problem. This is where you're looking at it. You're looking at it the wrong way. You have to look what Liverpool targeted. They targeted the fact that Daly, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, it wouldn't have made a difference. You could have put a prime Cafu there. You could have put a prime right back there. It wouldn't have made a difference. If he doesn't have support from the right winger to basically when he's 2 or 3v1, you're going to get absolutely exposed. It doesn't make a difference. Aaron Wan-Bissaka isn't taking on 3 players playing a triangle around him, with all due respect. I think
to be fair, Jody, United fans as well say the reason Anthony's in the team is because he tracks back, and he didn't.
What happened
in that game?
To be fair, I've seen him engage, do a sprint, okay, and he's tracked back a few times, and he puts in his foot. Yeah. But it seemed
he did put a good tackle in as well that saved a potential goal scoring opportunity for Liverpool yesterday. He did put one in, but
1 in 10 isn't good enough. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Yeah.
You've got to be up.
I just go by one of the comments here to say, Madhav Timisana, it was a bad day, guys. Let's move on and focus on upcoming games. Yeah, I mean, we have to lick our wounds. We have to look forward to Thursday. And I bet you, guys, that Erik Ten Hag has given them like a hairdryer treatment like no one else before. That was complacency. I agree. It was complacency. It was just lack of mentality. I cannot go in on individual players because it was collective team performance at the end of the day, right? Defensively, we've never seen this happen before. We're talking about Martinez, Varane. They were not there. They were not at the races. They were slipping over, right? Luke Shaw was having, a bad day as well. Bruno Fernandes, the captain. There was no leaders on the pitch, to be honest, right? So when we went down 2-0, it was game over, Red Rover in a certain sense. But we got to look forward. What's next? Right? It's Thursday. It's Royal Betis, right?
Matt saying, how you doing, fellas? And Cedric from the Spaces. Mi amigo, como está?
Mi amigo.
Good morning, lads. I hope you're doing well. I need the therapy. You've done, Madhav. Matt's here again saying there's a difference between a bad day in the office and an abject performance. Regardless, we move on, and he continues. The players have nowhere to hide, let alone not fit to wear the shirt. No, come on. We were singing not fit to wear the shirt last season, but they've stepped up.
Do you know what? Do you know what?
Can I
Do
just
you know what?
finish
This
though,
is what.
Ben? He does continue and say a conversation needs to be had about the players' contracts, especially the ones on 1 year. They've had more than enough chances, which I do agree with the latter, and I kind of agree with the former. We all chanting they're not fit to wear the shirt, but they have improved.
To be honest,
I raise my hand. Can I say something? You know, Ten Hag, you know, I love this man, right? But for the first time, I must admit, he got the lineup wrong. Right? He got the formation wrong, and I said it yesterday as well. He lined up towards Klopp's favor, right? He did we saw in first half he did man-on-man marking system, right? Fred was disposed like I don't know where was Fred positionally. He was dreadful, right? Where you look, we spoke about the midfield, right? On paper, our midfield was much more better than their Henderson. Henderson turned up like prime Henderson, right? We have this young what's his name, Elliot, right, as well, and old Fabinho, and they still bossed us in the midfield. You know, so games are lost in the midfield, won and lost in the midfield. Simple as that. We were not good enough, right? The whole, I must say that on Ten Hag, it was wrong from Ten Hag from very first minute.
Does anyone else? Does anyone else think that? Because obviously earlier on in that first half, Casemiro weren't moving properly. He weren't moving freely.
I think
now.
He was. Yeah, there's rumors to say that he was carrying a knock. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't look very comfortable when he was running. He didn't look very comfortable in challenge. I mean, that challenge for that first goal. No, was it the first goal? Yeah, I think it was that first goal. He just didn't look right. He didn't look like he would have slid in, but he just didn't look comfortable. And this is the major problem that we've got when Casemiro doesn't play or plays like he did yesterday. We just look a shambles in midfield, and this is where we still need major. And we know we need major investment. We can't keep carrying on with the likes of Fred and the likes of McTominay. We need to upgrade on these to be to be challenging for the title and Champions Leagues. I think obviously Ten Hag knows that, but for what he's done this season with the squad that he had, considering how this squad was last season, and I've seen people say Ten Hag out, he's not the man for United. Fucking hell, man. You know what I mean? Could you imagine when fucking Fergie lost 6-1 to fucking City in 2011?
Yeah.
It's just Ben, I got a WhatsApp message last night. After the game, and they was being sensible, like you, like it's one of them games. It happens. It's going to happen at some point, and today was a point. Blah 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 blah. And I said, "What? Yeah, I know, but watch now. Twitter will be going fucking mad. There'll be loads of hashtags Ten Hag out and all that crap." And then late last night, it must have been about, I don't know, 3-4 in the morning or something like that. I had a look on Twitter, what was trending. Manchester United, number one trend, over 1,000 tweets, Ten Hag out.
No,
these people are not fucking United fans, man. They just...
No.
I mean, they might be.
I mean,
but they don't even believe it. No, but
mate, there's a difference between being a fan and a supporter.
Yeah.
No, they don't even believe it themselves. They just
there was one tweet that was going in individually. I mean, I said it myself, watch this space. I'm switching off because I know the Player FC is coming out. I know the Knives is coming out from the cupboard. I know all the media and pundits are just waiting for United to slip up, so they can stab Erik Ten Hag in the back. And guess, lo and behold, what happened? It happened, right? I'm not taking it. There was one tweet where I reacted on this morning that when attacking on other fans, call him the names and fat cows and stuff like that. It's not on, right? Where have you been?
Yeah, I've seen that specific tweet that you're talking about.
Yeah. It's like, the train of change, took off, 6 months ago. And these people still standing on the train station, waving the flags of waiting for a slip up, right? Ain't happening anymore.
Because you can't be wrong anymore. If you have an opinion, you cannot be wrong anymore on Twitter. You cannot be wrong. So you've got to find anything.
Guys, I want to switch up the topic a little bit because I want to touch on Ten Hag, and I want to run through from beginning to end here now because I know we vented a little bit, but I want to start going through this tactically at a time. I want to Ben, the starting lineup. Were you happy with the starting lineup? What would you have changed, Ben, with the starting lineup? Because to be fair, when I looked at the starting lineup, I wasn't happy.
Like I said, I wouldn't have played that. I wasn't happy with Shaw playing either because of the game Malacia had at Old Trafford. Did Malacia start at Old Trafford? He did, didn't he?
Malacia started at Old Trafford. So
yeah, he did, didn't he?
Shaw was left centre back.
Pardon?
He
definitely started. He definitely started because he did. Right, so. And this is what I don't understand. He had Salah in his back pocket all game at Old Trafford, and I just could not understand because what you've got to remember is with Luke Shaw, we had the same problem with Luke Shaw backing off from Saka against Arsenal, where Malacia wouldn't have backed off. I feel that them two should have started at left and right back, and I think what he should have done was, I think he should have been braver. Taken Weghorst out and probably played 3 in midfield and put Sabitzer in with Fred and Casemiro and put Casemiro as the 6 just to shore it up a bit and just played 3 at the top, even if that means putting Bruno on the right, putting Bruno on the left, obviously Anti on the right and Rashford up top. Weghorst didn't do anything for me yesterday. I think that game just showed that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think he's been fantastic for us. I think he's done some really, really good, with his pressing and stuff like that. But pressing and looking really good and smiling doesn't automatically get you a fucking Man United contract. You've got to be scoring goals as well. And that's the problem with him. He doesn't score goals. And
he's doing every job Ten Hag wants, barring scoring goals.
I think Ten Hag's happy with that. But when you've got to move forward, Niall, and when you, like I say, you go for the bigger trophies and you want the bigger trophies, you've got to get better quality in. And, it's clear to see that he's a stopgap. He's done what he's done. I keep Sabitzer. I think Sabitzer's a tidy player. I think he's like a silent assassin. You don't see, he doesn't, what he does is just...
doesn't it?
Yeah, a bit like Michael Carrick, but you can tackle a bit better than Michael Carrick. But he does things, and you just like, it's like that goal Rashford scored against Leeds. That was all down to Sabitzer. When he was winning balls in that final as well, where we nearly scored. And Fred just sometimes for me just looks like a headless chicken. He looks like a deer in lights. And yesterday was a prime example of it. And it's all about composure. And I feel that this team got so emotionally involved yesterday that happened. They let their emotions take over what they should have done on the pitch. That's how I think, anyway.
And Madave comes up with a great point. I said this last night on the live watch along. Nobody can tell Ten Hag out when he has been doing a miracle with this squad. I guess if I'm right, Ten Hag wanted Gakpo and Nunez both in Manchester United, but unfortunately he didn't get both. And he's correct because I pointed that out.
I saw that point.
That's right. No, it is right. It is right.
Here's the thing, not right. In the summer, to be fair, you had a choice between Gakpo and Anthony. You chose to go for Anthony instead of Gakpo. And Gakpo would be
to be fair, in the summer though, Jody, in the summer they was looking at Nunez.
Hang on.
And Liverpool got the money up front.
There's like 100 million. The max we were willing to spend was 60 million. I'm sorry, Darwin Nunez wasn't worth 100 million at that point.
No, he wasn't. I'm not saying he wasn't worth it, but we was definitely in for it. And Liverpool outbid us.
No. But this Gakpo talk for January is absolute bullshit, in all honesty. I'm fed up hearing this bullshit talk with Gakpo because in the summer, the deal was done for the summer and he chose Anthony over Gakpo.
Yeah.
Would have been for 40 million versus 100 million. There's the difference. He could have spent another 60 million on another player. But he wanted Anthony more than he wanted Gakpo. And you go and spend
but you've also got to understand why he wanted Anthony.
You can't go and spend 100 million on a right midfielder and then people turn around and say he wanted Gakpo. He chose Anthony over Gakpo. And then you want us to go and spend 55 million in January over a player that he could have had in the summer.
Yeah, but that's because he wanted a left-footed midfielder first and foremost, because we didn't have any.
He
The
wanted
only
the
player
left
we've got is Diallo when he was out on loan at Sunderland.
He has to look at his squad and make it work. Man United is not a bottomless pit of money that we can go out and buy 500 million pounds worth of players. We don't have that ability right now, unfortunately.
Not right now. We don't know. Absolutely not.
Unfair to guys when we don't have money to turn around and say, "Oh well, he wanted this player." Hey, I want. There's a lot I want, but I can't afford it, and that has to be the of Man United as well.
At least the reports that come out.
The irony of this all, I mean, in terms of Gapco and Darwin Núñez, we both were linked to them, right? And they happened just to turn up to score a brace against us. Looking at back when, you know, they haven't been like on a scintillating form for they haven't been good at all in the Liverpool shirt, but yesterday just turned up. And this is the irony, because we were linked to them, and I was spewing over that, to be honest.
But to the same United fans that when Gapco wasn't scoring when he first went to Liverpool were going on him saying that we dodged a bullet. Now that he scored 2 against United, he's great. Which one is it?
Yeah,
can't have it both ways.
I know.
Well, can I just say something, Jody? Can I just say something? Like, they scored yesterday, yeah, but if you look at the nature of the goals that we conceded, it was fucking amateurish.
It was. I have to agree with you. Gakpo's first, especially.
It was like watching a bunch of adults play an under-14s football team.
Mm-hmm.
It was shocking. You know, you're giving credit to the goals, to the goal scorers, fair enough. But when you're letting Bobby Firmino come on and fucking score the 7th, that's when you know you've had a really fucking shit day on a football pitch.
Yeah, but going back to the lineup, right? If I may react as well, Jody, I didn't agree with that lineup at all. Like, you know, because I wanted Sabitzer in playing next to Casemiro.
You need something in the middle of the park. You always do. And Fred and Weghorst was not that.
No.
The lineup, Erik Ten Hag is not exempt from criticism. And as a manager, you've got to take it.
Absolutely.
Potter, Ten Hag has to be able to hold it as well. And I
absolutely agree.
Last week, this is 150 years worth of rivalry for Liverpool. And you did not show up. And you've got to hold that.
Agreed.
Point number two. Most of these players, new signings, they have never been to Anfield and to experience this hostile environment. I might be wrong, but they got sucked into the whole environment. I think they got swallowed up by the hostile environment, and they just lost their heads.
Oh, that's
I know it's not as good. I mean, that's my opinion. That's how I see.
They were silent for 20 minutes through that first half, not saying a fucking peep.
Who's that?
It was only until they scored that goal, the Liverpool fans piped up, and then that was it. They were just relentless for 45 minutes.
Thank you.
You know, that's what it was. To Matt, who's put that on about it's a smokescreen about the Glazers not selling.
Go on, mate. You say it. Go on.
I can't, mate. I've not got my glasses on. You'll have to read it out, but I will.
Okay,
I'll
so
take over things. They answer the sports screen to divert United fans. If United had moved earlier, Anthony would have been cheaper.
No,
they wouldn't have, because Man United moved on him on 4 occasions, and they kept saying no and wanting more money. So don't.
Yeah, they did. That's right. They gave a set price of 80 million and stayed by it. Regarding that, on the Glazer thing, it's not, mate. It's not a smokescreen. It's not to try and appease United fans. They are generally leaving Man United. I know
I think he means the PR spinners in we've lost, so now they're talking about positive things about the sale to try and.
Do you know what? But the thing is, Niall. Someone was talking to me about it. I can't even remember who it fucking was actually, and it's my cousin, and he said yesterday, he goes, I bet you any money on it, you'll hear something of the Glazers are ready to sell Man United just to fucking calm everything down.
That's what happens, mate. Every time we lose, it's in a transfer window.
The thing is, everybody knows that. Everybody knows that, though. Everybody knows they're leaving. Everybody knows they can't afford to run Man United. Everyone knows that the deal's
Roy Keane made about
you don't go to a into an advanced stage of bidding, if you're not going to fucking sell the club, you reject it there and then, mate. Simple as that.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Guys, for all you watching, let us know what you think. Please like and subscribe. There's a lot of buttons down there. Like this video. Tell your friends. Guys, I gotta go. I gotta go for dinner. My wife is gonna kill me otherwise. But thank you for having me on as a guest. You know,
No worries, mate.
we came here. We had a red pill. We vented. Jody, you look like you need a little bit of more sleep
No,
as well. I'm
Tired.
tired, but we go again on Thursday, guys. And big up for you. Big up for Ben for coming on. Thanks for having me as a guest, and speak to you soon, guys.
Take care,
See
mate.
yous.
Cheers, Mick. Thanks for your
Take
opinion,
care,
mate.
mate.
See you later, pal.
See you later.
So,
And as
Ben,
one goes,
Ben.
as one goes, we have another one.
Yes, mate.
Nick. How you
Oh,
doing?
for fuck's sake.
Just in time.
Hi, Nick. Hey, I'm back.
I thought you were going.
Yeah, I just want to say hi to Nick. I'm going. Hi, Nick. Bye, Nick.
Have you got your feet?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we've got you.
Yeah.
How you doing, Captain?
Have you got your
Tagline?
things out?
No,
your knee?
they've all been taken out now.
That's
Yeah.
good news.
I'll send you the picture of it.
So you're not a legless midget anymore, then?
Well, no, it's really, really
no,
bad.
I don't want to see it.
It looks really bad.
Just before we
It's
get
horrific. I look like Frank
So what do you
Stanley.
think?
just before we get to you, Nick, do you want to finish what you're saying, Jody?
I actually wanted to I wanted to touch upon what Roy Keane said about the senior players letting Man United down, and this is becoming a recurring pattern with Manchester United senior players. It's been happening all season, but it's been masked with wins and obviously streaks and clean sheets and etc. But to be fair, there's a lot of senior players have been letting Man United down, and they're not being called out. I mean, Bruno Fernandes was absolutely dreadful yesterday. I mean, as a captain, I've never seen a Man United captain turn up to a rivalry match and put in a worse captaincy performance than, to be fair, than any Man United captain, regardless of what people say. Even when we lost and Harry Maguire played last season, he still was trying and shouting. Bruno gave up. No Man United should ever give up. And as far as I'm concerned, Bruno should never wear that arm badge again.
He has been called out, to be fair. He has been called out by
Bruno Fernandes.
Yes,
I
players.
said this a while back. Ben and I were talking on a space. I don't think you were there now. And we said we would be looking. Remember when I said I would look to move Bruno Fernandes on in the next 12?
I was there, mate, because I agreed with you.
Yeah, I've said this before. I've said you're probably looking at maybe this season, then next season, then you're probably looking at moving him on. I mean, he'll be 31 then, or 30 when you do move him on. But he's been a great servant for Man United. He really has. But yesterday, his second half performance, I mean, the way he tried kicking Trent over, it was just fucking like watching a 13-year-old kick his toys out the pram. 13-year-old, what the fuck am I on about? A 5-year-old kicking his toys out the pram. It was just absolutely pathetic. And what's this about him wanting to come off? I mean, I don't know if that's true, but
It wasn't true.
it's not true.
No, it was so. What he was doing, he was signalling to find out who was being subbed. But I think Gary Neville started saying, "Oh, he wants to be subbed off." But it was him and Rashford basically asking who's being subbed. So Gary Neville totally and utterly has put the hype in that Bruno was asking to be subbed off, and he wasn't.
Yeah.
If you watch it back, he
He
wasn't.
didn't just say Bruno. He said the players wanted to come off, didn't he? That's what he said. His quote.
No,
We
players
wanted them to come off because of shit.
No, he never said Bruno.
Yeah.
He said the players wanted to come off.
That's what I mean. He said players.
He didn't
Players
say
wanted
Bruno,
to come
but
off.
to be fair, I'm going to start with the goalkeeping, and then we're going to work our way through the starting 11, because there's a lot of players there who are still, like Roy Keane said, bluffers. They're riding the wave of the success of what the new manager bounces, and it's a long new manager bounce. But long term, I think Matt said it all. They've had numerous chances throughout this team for years, and they're still doing the same crap. We need replacements, and we need these players gone. I'm going to start with the goalkeeping and work my way up through the starting lineup. David De Gea, are you willing to keep him on for another 3 to 5 years?
No.
No.
It's about time. Listen, I know Scott loves him, doesn't he?
Scott does love it.
But big up Scott. But I feel that it is time to move him on and get a goalkeeper that knows how to command his box, knows how to.
Yeah, I disagree with you, Ben. I think keep him for another year or two. We've got bigger priorities to fill.
No, we
right
don't.
Now.
We don't know, because you look at them goals yesterday, Niall, and fucking hell. Seriously.
Better positioning saves 3 or 4 of those goals.
Yeah.
Some
of them goals. That second goal of Gakpo was absolutely fucking atrocious. Or was his third one?
I won't disagree.
No, it was Gakpo's second.
I won't disagree.
Where from the angle, if he's better positioned, because literally he's too close to his near post, and that opens up the whole other side. Yeah. He puts one step to the right, and he saves Gakpo's goal. Same with Firmino's goal.
I don't disagree.
What do you think, Nick?
But I think he saves more points when he loses those.
Yeah, you could say that about any goalkeeping, though. When they're letting goals in, it is always poor position. And I mean, there's some cracking goals, to be fair. I don't think all the goals were De Gea's. I'm not De Gea's biggest fan at all. I would prefer a much better goalkeeper who's not just good at shot stopping, and I've always said that. But I do think that quite a lot of it lies with that defence. The goalkeeper shouldn't have to do that much if your defence is solid and is doing its job. Clearly, the defence wasn't doing its job.
Here's the flip side to that. Is it because the goalkeeper's not good at commanding his box?
He never has, though. De Gea's never commanded his box for me. He's never commanded his box.
God, do you remember his game against West Brom?
Oh my God!
Yeah, but remember this, Jody, right? So who's the better goalkeeper then, David De Gea or Nick Pope?
Nick Pope.
He's got a solid defence in front of him.
I'd probably say Nick Pope.
I would say Nick Pope. Nick Pope commands his box a lot better.
Yes, but he's got a solid defence in front of him as well. That has conceded the least across all top 5 European leagues.
Your defence isn't 4 players; it's 5. Your goalkeeper is also part of your defence, and if one is the missing link out of that, then it's 4.
But if De Gea was in the Newcastle team, he might have conceded a lot less because they've been solid. They've conceded 15 goals all season or whatever, mate.
But 5.
Yeah, but if you watch Newcastle, they play a much higher line because they trust their goalkeeper. The reason why we play such a deep line is because he doesn't trust David De Gea. He doesn't trust David De Gea to be a sweeper keeper. I mean, you know, we've seen time and time again with David De Gea where he's had the ball at his feet and there's players in space, and it's like that one sticks in my head against Arsenal, and he just fucking kicked it out, and there were players on his right hand side, and it's like it's almost like it's one dimensional with him. It's almost like, oh, I'm just going to boot the ball high, or I'm going to kick it left. Do you know what I mean? And it's like this whole booting the ball fucking high to Weghorst. It's like watching Wimbledon. It is pretty embarrassing, to be fair. It's fucking embarrassing, though. For a football team of Man United stature should not be belting the ball to a 6'7" fucking giant who doesn't even win headers.
Oh my God. It's a running.
What's the point of kicking it long if you can't win headers?
He barely gets half a foot off the floor. It's embarrassing. Then you've got a 5'8" Gavi out jumping him.
Let's just jump to Matt's. Let's just jump to Matt's comments, and then you can move on to the next position, Jody, because he's brought in a few positions here. De Gea, Licher, Varane, Eriksen are my candidates. I don't know whether that means to go or to keep, but that's his candidates. I would have put Casemiro on that list. Niall, I remember telling you guys last week, every position needs to be looked at long term. 100% it fucking does. But he does follow that up by saying he would keep De Gea and phase him out slowly. I still think his input is still needed. Thoughts, guys?
Here's the thing.
What fucking input? How to not catch a fucking cross?
I was just about to say this. To be honest, you
Ben's
were talking about the high line.
Everybody, that's his Ben.
Here's the thing, Ben. Do you remember when Tom Heaton started in goal for us this season in the cup?
Yeah.
Did anyone?
And he was commanding.
We played a line 6.5 yards higher than we normally
Years,
do.
that'd be a bit much years, mate. But yeah,
6
because
yards
Tom
is a lot.
Heaton, and do you know what? Do you know what makes me laugh? Tom Heaton is older than David De Gea.
Yeah.
Okay, right back. I want to go on to the right back. We know we have two good right backs. To be fair, we have Dallo and Wan, and Wan's dramatically.
Try and get something from Nick with all this because we're already overrun as it is.
Ah, who cares?
Can't blame me for that either.
No, it's not you. So Nick, I want to go. Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Dallo. Keep, sell. What do you want to do with them?
I'd keep Wan-Bissaka and I'd get rid of Dallo. I prefer Wan-Bissaka as a player. I get that Dallo's been better for us. I know Wan-Bissaka dipped a little bit, but I think under Ten Hag he could be really, really good positioning. I like him going forward more than I necessarily like him at the back, but I just think he's a better all-round player. I'm not impressed with Dallo. I never have been.
And it's like I said, Nick. He breaks play up in midfield. He goes in forward and he puts a tackle in. He did it against Newcastle time and time again.
Yeah.
And Dalot just doesn't do that. I like Dalot, but for me, I think he'd be a better attacking right winger than a right back. I really do.
I'm just saying as well, Ben, isn't it great to see Nick not in her pajamas?
I don't know, mate.
So to go out, why would I be in my pajamas? Let's be clear.
If you didn't have to go out, you'd be in them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Niall, I'm going to come to you because I like what Nick said about back and Dallo. To be fair, I will say with Dallo, since the World Cup, he's not looked the same player as he did prior to the World Cup. He looks two different players right now. Niall, I'm going to go to Varane. What's your thoughts on what you should do with Varane?
And I don't know, your Caribbean taxi Wi-Fi was splitting up a bit there. What's my thought on Dalot, yeah?
No, not Dalot, Varane.
Varane. I love Varane. I think he's a lot better now that he's got Martinez with him, and Casemiro in front of him as well. Because I think he was doing all the donkey work seasons before.
But then again, you've got to look at. Go on.
That's why I think now he's getting less injuries now. He was injured a lot in the previous seasons when he just had Maguire or Lindelof.
But we still got a lot for long-term replacement.
Yeah. And now he's not getting the injuries. So for me, that shows a lot. He's not having to do as much work as he had to do because he's got the likes of Licher next to him, Casemiro in front of him. And I mean, Matt said that he was talking about captaincy when he said his candidates. And where is it? Yeah, there it is. So he was on about De Gea, Licher, Varane, Eriksen as his candidates for captaincy. And I think Varane is one of them. Martinez is one of them. And I think Casemiro should be one of them.
I'm going to give you the most outrageous take right now. I think we have three centre-backs that need to be replaced.
3?
Varane, Lindelof, Maguire all need to be sold.
I agree with Varane in a season or two. I think the other two need to go with Sunak.
Here is the 3 I would bring in. I would bring in De Ligt. I would bring in Timber. And I would bring in Kim from Napoli.
De Ligt's not leaving Bayern, mate.
Only centre-back I think.
See, I don't agree with Timber anymore because if you're to replace Timber for Varane as a starter at centre-back, you've then got 2 5'8", 5'9" defenders.
You would have 1 5 and 1 5'10".
But they're both small centre backs.
Height has nothing.
I can go with one of them because it works, but 2 of them
to do with Lee
could be a bit.
But then, be fair, Timber can also transition into right back.
No, I know. I agree with that. As in,
to be honest, if you put both of them at centre back, Weghorst is still not winning a ball.
Exactly. I was just about to
get rid of Wan-Bissaka and bring in Timber, and he can cover at right back or at right centre back. You could go in for somebody else, like we spoke about before on Spaces, Jody. You can move Luke Shaw into left centre back as cover for Martinez. So you've got Malacia, but you can bring someone else in for the left back. So you've got cover everywhere, and one player can do 2 or 3 positions.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but Sorry,
Go ahead, Nick.
if you've got players already, so you've got Wan-Bissaka, for example, who, to be fair, has really stepped up to the plate under Ten Hag. Why would you look at taking him out of a team and replacing him with somebody that hasn't played with this squad? Why would you not utilise the advancements that you've already made with Wan-Bissaka rather than trying to replace him? I think it's too early. I think it's too early to try and replace him. I think I would give him another season under Ten Hag and see what he can do, because we've had so many different formations on that back line. I want to see something solid, and I want to see it work week in, week out. I understand we need rotation. I understand we haven't got depth of squad necessarily, but I really do think if we've got Wan-Bissaka and he's improved so much, why would you take him out of the team? That's my personal opinion.
Red Devils TV, which is Dan. Oh no, Red Dead United TV, so it's not Dan. Jody, this is for you, mate.
Jody, you've seen the news that Mason Greenwood is expecting to put an experimental treatment chamber as long as TV.
Do you want to go there?
I'll touch on Mason Greenwood a bit afterwards. I just want to run through the team. Martinez.
Don't say you'll touch on somebody, mate.
You know what I mean. As far as I'm concerned, Martinez is untouchable right now in that team. I think the team around him let him down. He was trying. You could see he was trying to be aggressive. He was trying to be progressive as well yesterday, and he got let down a lot. I want to touch upon Luke Shaw because I thought Luke Shaw has been one of the most improved players under Ten Hag, but he wasn't at the races yesterday. I don't want to over criticize him and go back saying this is the old Luke Shaw, but I want to get what you guys have to say regarding
Yeah, but the thing is, Jody, with Luke Shaw, we've had.
Someone's gone dead.
Yeah, Ben has. Nick, what do you think? Sure.
Listen, Luke Shaw was one of my favourite players. And I think it's really difficult because we need to not lose perspective. It was a defeat and it was a terrible defeat, but we've still made massive progress. And I think that any player can have an off game. It's just that pretty much every player had an off game yesterday. So it's really hard to tell who were the bad eggs. I think that Shaw's got potential. I don't want to completely dismiss him. I mean, basically, as soon as I got T-shirts with him on the back and phone cases, he went shit. So that's why I'm not doing that anymore. But I just think that we really need, let's not lose perspective and lose sight of the fact that quite a lot of these players have improved. And I'm willing to chalk it down to a bad day. But I hope Ten Hag has run them ragged for the rest of this week and they do something against Betis, because they really, really need to now show us that that was a blip. And I expect
we ran.
Yeah, it's like I said earlier. This is probably Ten Hag's hardest job to date regarding being at Man United, because losing to Brentford 4-0, I know it's hard, but then losing to City 6-3 away, I know that's hard, but losing to Liverpool, and in the manner of losing to Liverpool, there's a massive job for you to get these players picked up and let's go show everyone, like you just said, this is a blip. This is just a moment of madness. We need to concentrate and focus. But I do think there's a lot of players out there that just haven't got that and proved it yesterday, just haven't got that mentality to fight for the club, fight for the fans. I think they dropped their head too quick. As soon as that second goal, like I said to you lot, you were in it, but I said that goal they scored absolutely took the fucking life out of Man United.
It did.
Yeah.
Everyone's head dropped.
It shocked everyone. It even shocked Liverpool fans.
Yeah.
It even shocked them that they'd fucking gone 1-0 just before half time. It's just fucking like Nick said, it probably is a bad day at the office. It probably is a bad day, but we can't keep affording having them, especially at this time of the season.
So I want to go on the midfield right now. Casemiro, obviously, I think he's another untouchable in my opinion. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
He got some
I think
weird
he got
feet
injured.
last night, Casemiro.
Yeah, I know he did. It was fucking weird. It's just dickheads on Twitter, innit?
That's what I mean. People need to stop retweeting it, comment on it, shit like this, because like I said, half of these people don't even believe in what they're tweeting themselves. They're just doing it for fucking interaction and clout. Don't give them a platform. They're fucking idiots. Or the smart people being idiots purposely. Don't give them the clout. Just stop fucking retweeting the shit. Stop saying, oh, look at this bad take or whatever. Don't give them the attention. But they don't believe it themselves, mate. They don't believe it.
Fred.
I would not give him a new contract.
Nick?
And if you're going to give him a 12-month contract, sell him by doing it to get money for him.
Nick?
I do wonder whether that's why we triggered that extension so we can get money for him in the summer. Because, I mean, yesterday I thought he was all right, as in he was found in a lot of space. Every time they had the ball in the final third, Fred was there free every time. But he just didn't do anything with it when he did get it. But I do think he needs to go. But so does McTominay. Can you get rid of two? Can you bring two in?
What do you reckon, Nick?
You've got to look at defence as well.
What do you think, Nick?
I like Fred as a squad player. I think that if you're going to get rid of anybody, you'd need to get rid of McTominay. And I think keep Fred as a squad player because you've got Sabitzer, you've got Casemiro, you've got Eriksen. What you really need, I mean, that midfield is where we've always struggled. And I think now we're really building up that midfield and we need to make sure that we're strong. And for me, Fred wins over McTominay. I think he's been an improved player this season as well. I like his work rate. I think he tries really hard. And I've always said I prefer passion within the squad than players like, let me just pick on Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw doesn't like football. That's come from the England training camp. He doesn't like football. He plays football because he can play football and he earns fucking good money.
Ben White doesn't either.
Yeah, they don't.
Apparently Ben White doesn't like football either.
No, so I want somebody who likes football.
Luke Shaw, if you're going back to Luke, I can tell you stories about Luke when he was at East Moseley. When he played for East Moseley. That's before Southampton, by the way. That was up in East Moseley's down in Surrey. I could tell you stories about Luke when he was at East Moseley. And Luke Shaw, I feel, plays football because he's good at it. I don't think he has love for the game at all. No. A player who loves the game is committed to the game. And I don't think he is committed to it. There's a lot of players who just play because they're good and they get paid. But they don't love the game.
That's what I mean. It's a job now, Jody. You're not playing football because you love playing football anymore. You're just playing because it's a fucking mad wage. Simple as that.
I'm going to touch on Weghorst. I think he's just, honestly, he's a stopgap, like we all said. So there's no point touching on him. But I have, in terms of when you're looking at the forward line now, Rashford's made himself.
I wouldn't play him on Thursday.
I wouldn't play Weghorst on Thursday, in all honesty. I would change the entire lineup just to teach them all a lesson.
You might well do as well.
Harry Maguire, Chuckle Brothers are going to play on Thursday and have a fucking 10 out of 10, aren't they?
Chuckle Brothers.
I would do the same. I wouldn't even start David De Gea. I would go Tom Heaton, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, because I think Aaron's done nothing wrong to be dropped in the first place, and he shouldn't have been dropped, in my opinion. And I like Daly, and I think in the back, out of the whole back five, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is the most improved out of everybody. About a mile. And he's starting to look a player. And I've got to hold my hand up because everybody knows I never was a fan of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So I've got to. One thing I want Aaron to do and improve, you see that looking over the right shoulder to see players coming behind him? That's the only thing I want him to improve. And I sing that constantly. Ben, you know, I sing it constantly.
And his final ball.
His final ball's improved a hell of a lot.
That's getting better, to be fair.
So that's the only one thing I want. I don't have a problem.
His attacking is improved a lot under Erik ten Hag.
It really has.
No one could doubt that.
It's still not quite there, but it has improved a hell of a lot.
Defensive, look over your right shoulder. I mean, the back five, I would start Heaton, Wan-Bissaka, Chuckle Brothers, and Malacia against I'm so happy that Harry Maguire didn't play yesterday because if he'd have scored one, he would have got blamed for 7 goals.
Yeah, probably.
So what you said about most improved, Jody.
I'm seeing the dumb.
What you said about most improved.
The loss.
That's why I'd go with keep Fred over McTominay because out of the two, Fred has got 10 goal contributions. How many has McTominay got? So that's why I'd keep Fred over McTominay.
I think he's got 10 yellow cards.
It doesn't matter. He's got 10 goals and assists as well, so it's a lot more than McTominay. McTominay's probably got 10 yellow cards.
I think.
So,
I know you got to go to. I know you got to go to Anthony next, aren't you, Cody?
To be fair, I just thought Anthony had a really piss poor game. I'm not going to go in on because he's a new signing. I try not to go in on new signings. In all honesty, I think it's unfair because they're still getting used to the culture, the club, everything else that falls into that. So I try not to go into him. I'm trying to give him the benefit of doubt. If he was in a second,
they always say though for young players. I mean, not always, but they always say give them a season and judge them on their second season. And that's what I was going to do with Anthony. I knew Anthony weren't going to be a player that was going to hit it running. I knew he weren't going to be because he's a confidence player, isn't he? He needs confidence, and I know he's had a lot of shit from yesterday. But I think judging next season, this time next year, we talk and we can judge because he's had nearly 2 seasons in the Premier League. Rashford can't really judge. He's been brilliant this season. Just had an off game yesterday.
I will say I saw Rashford do something which I didn't see other players do, and it was their job to do. Rashford was playing through the centre of the park and ran 60 yards to the left wing to make a tackle to cover for Luke Shaw. And I didn't actually see any other player do that. And that's when you knew that I actually exempted Rashford and Casemiro from criticism yesterday because it looked like to me they were the only ones trying to put in a shift, closing down, making tackles. Like I saw Rashford pressing consistently. I saw Van Disney, who was, to be fair, he thought Rashford was offside, but Rashford just outpaced him, to be fair, didn't he? And I generally thought Rashford had not a good game, but he wasn't the worst player on the pitch, him and Casemiro, to be fair.
So what do you guys think about Chase's comment? You know Chase, Jody. I'm assuming it's the same one. I only know one called Chase. Ben might have heard him. Nick probably hasn't. Anthony showed his dog mentality yesterday. He didn't have the best game, but he stuck his foot in and fought.
No, he didn't.
To be fair, I'm going to be controversial. I think Anthony, weirdly, probably had one of his best games yesterday. He was breaking them lines. He got in between. He got in the back of them multiple times. But the problem is he still had no end product, and that's the problem.
Watch the game on BBC Radio.
No, I watched it on the TV. Just there to me. Just there. He got in behind that defence multiple times.
Had a good game. There's no way. He was awful.
He got in there multiple times.
He was awful defensively. He was barely average.
Right. I'm not on about defensively. I'm on about the position he's supposed to be doing. He did the job, but he didn't have the final product as usual.
He never had. I can't. Here's the thing: if you're a player on the wing, you have to be up and down that line. And the problem is, throughout the 40 years of supporting United, I've seen some great wingers go up and down the line, And Anthony didn't have that yesterday, unfortunately.
Yes, but come on, it's a modern game now. Generally, they don't do that anyway. No matter what team you play for.
You're exempt from playing defense then?
No, I'm just saying generally in the modern game now, you don't do that as an inside forward anyway. In any team, whoever you are.
He's playing right wing.
Yeah, but he's an inside forward, isn't he? He's left-footed on the right. He's an inside forward.
He's an inside forward.
Just like Rashford's an inside forward on the left.
I have to disagree. I thought he was poor yesterday. I'm sorry. There was no forward.
I think he got into some good positions, but he couldn't do anything with it. He basically got the woman and couldn't poke the fire.
Going back to the McTominay and Fred, personally, I would sell them both. I think there are better players out there. I think Yuri Tillemans is better.
Yeah.
So Chase is an inverted right winger.
There's better players. There's better midfielders who play for fucking Brighton, for fuck's sake, than McTominay and Fred.
Thank you. You could go to Holland and pick up Joey Vermaelen at PSV, who's like 20 million and better than a pair of them together.
But at the end of the day,
better. Well, he's like 15 million.
Thing is, we've got to remember, we weren't going to sell all these players at the start when Ten Hag come in, and it's going to be a slow process, and it's going to be weeding them out season by season, summer by summer, transfer window by transfer window. we've just got to be patient because at the end of the day, he's done something that nobody expected him to do, and that was win a cup in his first season. No, and everyone writ United. No one even predicted United to be in a top 4.
It's true.
No.
I think
apart from people who understood how Erik ten Hag works as a coach, people truly believed you. I truly believed. I even said in the summer, we will win a cup and probably get top 4. I'm looking at, you know what? Premier League's always been a stretch too far, regardless of what the dickheads say on Twitter of, oh, we're in a title challenge, because we never was to begin with. I'll be happy with third. And win the 2 cups. Fucking just go for it.
It's ironic coming from a dickhead on Twitter.
I am a dickhead on Twitter. I'm not going to fucking lie. But the difference is I'm the dickhead that speaks sense. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
That's what all the kids say, mate.
Fuck off, Nick.
I have a serious question. Where do you go now?
Look, just dust yourself off, get up, dust yourself off, and fucking go again. Real Betis. The perfect opportunity because it's a completely different competition. It's European competition. It's not the Premier League, and you're at home. That is a perfect place to try and rebuild and go on again. You know, I saw a fucking space before coming here saying, "Is this the end for Man United?" Like, what the fuck are you on about?
That's what I mean. I told you it's all for.
I'm not gonna say no names or anything like that because that's not fair. But I was like, "What the fuck are you on about, you fucking stupid dickhead?"
Call the name. I don't care.
No, I'm not doing it because at the end of the day, I don't get on with this person, and I don't really want to speak of him because it gives him airtime, and it's not
our
who you
friend,
think it is.
Ben?
No, it's actually not. No, in fact, our friend spoke fucking sense yesterday.
He did,
believe it or not.
He did.
We're not going to mention no names, but his tweet was the tweet of the fucking day yesterday. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, and I was like, you know what?
No,
but
to be fair, he was really good yesterday, wasn't he?
Who?
Wow.
Oh, right, yeah. But at the end of the day, well, this is the perfect game to come back. It's the perfect game to get back onto winning ways again. You know, like Gary Neville said yesterday, we fucking lost to Newcastle 5-0 at St James's Park. And I remember that game. Fucking hell, it was horrible.
Horrible.
The Saturday after, we're going to get fucking hammered by Southampton 6-3. Do you know what I mean? So, look, it happens. You know, the problem is the reason why it's also hyped up. The reason why it's also hyped up is because it's against Liverpool, and it's understandable why it is hyped up because there are rivals. You know, through like you say, through history and honours. That's why there are rivals. You know, I hate fucking losing to Liverpool, especially by that score.
It was only hyped.
I hate even conceding
because it was at the bottom of the table at the time. That's the only reason that one was highlighted.
To be fair, one thing I have seen with Erik ten Hag, he's turned Old Trafford into a fortress, but he's got to learn to go to the big teams and get away results.
Our away form has been pretty diabolical this season, to be fair. If you look at it, it's very hit and miss.
Go away and get results because Arsenal, City, Liverpool.
Yeah. And we've still got Spurs away.
Spurs away still to come.
And we've still got Newcastle away.
And we've got Newcastle away and Chelsea away, right?
No, we've got Chelsea at home.
Do you want to read that as well, Jody? Given he was talking about selling McTominay and stuff.
If I'm Ten Hag, I'm sending...
hang on. Sorry, wrong one. There you go.
I would play Kevin over McFred. Give me hungry players who want to be on the pitch and who will fight for the badge because that's what it came down to yesterday. In all honesty, I would have taken Hannibal yesterday because we know what Hannibal will do. He would have come on.
He's on loan now, isn't he?
If I'm Ten Hag, I'm sending a message at the starting 11, nobody's safe. And if you're not going to show up, nobody's safe. And if you're not going to show me your fight, give me what I want. You're not going to play for me. I agree with that.
Matt did say that.
And his talk, sport cronies, up after tipping United as favourites beforehand. Happy we have a she-devil in the house. Big up Nick from Cedric. Look, I'm going to be...
She's right now. Oh, she's back now.
She's back for you, Cedric.
I think he has to... I've watched this. That defeat yesterday, there's not a player in the second half, there's not a player in the starting 11 or the second half that should be starting on Thursday, in my opinion. I'm sorry. I've seen this film too many times, and it's the VHS is worn out now. There's too many senior players who just let their head drop.
Fuck me, you're still watching VHS.
Get the pencil in.
No,
turn it.
I'm just using that. You know what I mean? I'm using it as an excuse now. They're just not good enough. They just don't have the heart. They don't have the desire. They don't give a shit about the badge. And I've just had enough of some of these players right now. And
I don't think it's that, mate. I think that's a bit like I think because of the way because of how they perform this season, I think that's a bit unfair to say that they don't care about the badge. I think, like I said, the goal took the whole life out of him, and then that was it. Just emotions got ahead of him, and then
before the goal, this is the problem I have. Before the goal, we were lucky we didn't concede in the first 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, but everyone knew that was going to happen. Everyone knows when you go to Anfield, you have to close them out for 20 minutes in the first half. Then you quieten the fucking shite crowd down, and then you take it from there. That's what Fergie always said. First 20 minutes, let them have, just keep at it, and then it'll die the crowd down. That was the same yesterday.
Yeah.
It was exactly the same yesterday.
The difference is, though,
it was just the fact that
we had multiple chances to kill them.
We did
in the first game. They fucked up at the back so many times. It was like a fucking pinball.
Jody, question. Jody, question. I've got a question for you all, right? If we'd have conceded the first goal in the second half, do you think that happens?
Yeah.
No. I don't.
I do, because
do you?
Also something that people aren't saying. These players are physically exhausted right now.
I agree on that.
I agree with that, but I don't think it would have been 7-0 if they didn't score until the second half.
They outran us. They outdid everything to us, to be fair. And I think exhaustion now has come to play its fold. To be fair, I'm watching some of the games that we're going into next, and it's ridiculous. These players are going to break. We need a big squad. Or he has to start
Just in case you didn't see it, Nick. Some love for you, just in case you didn't see it. Carry on.
I think she's frozen. Hello.
Yeah, she's been to Iceland. All mums go to Iceland.
Oh no, she's back.
What was the question? My internet went down.
No,
just you need to stop using shit internet.
There's some love for you. There's some love for you. Someone's got to.
The question wasn't it? If they'd have scored the first goal in the second half, would you have still seen what we saw in the second half?
Yeah, because I don't think we were good enough on the day. I think that I've seen us go 1-0 down in the first half and come back and totally dominate the game. So I'm not going to blame that. I just think that we totally lost our heads, and when they got that second goal straight away in the second half, it was game over at that point. I knew we weren't going to come back from it, and I'm just absolutely disgusted that it got to 7. I had both my sister and my brother phoning me. My brother lives in Chicago, and he's sending me messages going, "Oh, I don't know that you watched the game. I just thought I'd let you know the result." They're both City fans. They're both City fans, and they're more interested in United losing than City winning.
Do you know what? Honestly, my best friend's a Liverpool fan, yeah. And when they scored that first goal, he put 1 of 5, and I put what? He goes, "That's 1 goal out of 5. We're winning 5-0." I was like, "Fuck off, mate. No, you're not." And then fucking out. And then he would text me when he went 6 and going, "We want 7. We want." And I was like, "This is what I didn't want. This is why I hate playing Liverpool, because the fucking
Ben, I've got to concede, mate. I had a silver lining. I won a bet yesterday on that result.
I saw it. I saw it.
That's the whole game.
He put 7-0 down.
Yeah, every game that went in, I was going like, fuck it, 50 quid, 50 quid, 50 quid, 50 quid.
Okay, now, based on you then.
I had to look at a positive, like, this is a fucking shit show.
Guys, I'm going to let Niall close the show. I've got to jump off quickly. I've got to get into a conference call. I'll let Niall close off the show. It was a pleasure speaking to you both, and I'll catch you guys in spaces later.
See you later,
Catch
good friend.
you later, Jody.
Let me
Bye.
know. Bye. Bye.
See you later, mate. So we'll just get through this question, then we'll all fuck off ourselves. So Chase saying yesterday showed Ten Hag he needs to change up the starting 11. It was Judgment Day to show who's going to step up mentally and fight. We have been getting away with our performances lately. It's time. Was it a test of time?
You got to look at some of the first half performances from us in the last sort of 5 to 6 games. I can see where it's coming from with that, and then obviously second half we end up dominating. But yeah, was it coming? I'd probably say a defeat was coming towards us, but not in that manner. No, we've been humbled, massively humbled.
Yeah, what do you think, mate?
I mean, again, defeats are bound to happen. I think it was the manner of the defeat that has really shown Ten Hag that there's still a lot of work to do. I do think that we've been getting away with a lot within our games. I don't think necessarily we've played great football, but what we have done is we've showed a fighting spirit and we've showed that we play together as a team. But that's not good enough, and we're not going to be title contenders until we start changing the squad a bit more. We need better players. Some of the players that we've got are not good. Anthony is not good enough for Manchester United. I'm sorry. He's a one-trick pony. He runs into space that he's then got to come back onto his left foot to get out of, and every single
you're
player
one-legged,
knows it.
Tony.
Fuck off.
And you're one-legged as well.
Well,
I fucking am actually. I am actually.
Yeah,
but
you've got
you got. Yeah, but would you not? Yeah, but like I said, you don't judge a player till the season after. I do get what you're saying with him.
Let's be honest, Nick. Anthony plays in a way that United don't and can't because of the people around him as well.
Yeah. I would
we're
agree
not
with
playing
that.
Ten Hag ball. So when we're playing Ten Hag ball, Anthony might play ball. You know what I mean? So you can't just say he needs a goal, get in the bin, as you're saying is.
Get in the fucking bin. I'm not saying he needs to get in the bin.
Well.
At this moment, he isn't good enough. Now, do I think that Ten Hag can make him good enough? Potentially. I think potentially he could be good enough. But I think that, and I said it with, I said it with Rashford. He was a one-trick pony. Greenwood was a one-trick pony. They'd go on that outside and they'd cut in, and they did it week in, week out, and players got used to it. So unless Anthony has got,
and that's why I don't like it. That's what an inside forward does, and that's why I don't like it. It's too predictable.
It doesn't suit Manchester United. Yeah, I don't think he's good enough yet. He potentially could be good enough, but we've got a lot of players that they're all right, but they're not good enough for Manchester United. If we want to start actually challenging for titles, then we need to do better.
We need to be spending at least, no word of a lie, about 250 to 300 million quid in the summer. If we're talking about going for titles and Champions League, that is the reality of it.
I disagree, Ben. I don't think, if you look back to Fergie's era, he didn't spend a shitload of money on players. He utilised the players that he had and he got them working to the system that he wanted to work in. I want players that we're going to get your Erik Cantonas for 1.5 million, your Ronaldos, cheap as chips, but actually they can work within the system and work within with the coaches to become fantastic players. I don't want 150 million.
Well, do you know what we need? Do you know what we need? We need
to learn. You saw what they did on the Ranić. It was too complicated.
We need Brighton scouting.
We've got the money. We need to be investing in good coaching staff who can actually work with the players that we've got. Otherwise, we're just going to keep switching it out. Oh, well, they've had a shit season this season, so let's get somebody else in. Every player has got the potential to have a shit season. We've seen it with Rashford. Every player's got the potential, but it's about what can the coaching staff bring out in those players to make them work for the team, and that's exactly what we've seen Rashford do. So it can be done.
Chaser said as well, if we're playing Ten Hag's way, nobody would say Anthony is not good enough. And your word saying with Fergie's system right there, we're not playing Ten Hag's system yet, which is what I've been saying. We're not. We're 20% Ten Hag ball. We're nowhere near it. And that's because of the players we've got.
We're not.
You can't.
Then there's no point buying players, then, Niall. There's no point buying players if we're not even playing the system that Ten Hag wants. Let's just play that system and develop those players. Why bother buying other players in if we're not even playing the system he wants?
No, because we're not playing Ten Hag's system because the players he's got at his disposal can't fucking do it. They're too thick.
They can though. Any footballer can play a system if they put. Erik Cantona used to sleep with his fucking ball, for Christ's sake, because he loved the game and he knew that his ball was about how he played with it. I don't agree with that at all. I think you've got great players at Brighton, you've got great players at Leicester, you've got great players at Liverpool, City, all that. They work within the system.
Our players are not intelligent enough to work with this shit. They weren't intelligent enough to work with Ranić and his weird 4-2-2-2 thing. They didn't want to work hard for it, but that's because they were stupid and thought, oh, well, you're only a temporary manager, but you're going upstairs, but that won't affect us. Of course it would have if he stayed upstairs, because he would have said to the new manager, get them out. They're not worth a wank, they won't work for you. And then Ten Hag's come in and go, oh, we all love this training. It's the same bloody training.
The issue that we've got is we've got a bunch of people who already think that they've made it as footballers because they play for Manchester United. That is the problem that we've got. We need to change that attitude because all those fucking players think that they've made it because they play for Manchester United. That is not what Manchester United is about.
It's a job and a wage. Nobody gives a shit anymore. Like someone said before, they was all pulling out names. They don't even like football. They're just playing it. It's a wage. It's a job. That's what it has become. You're not playing for the love of the game anymore. We've had that one from Chen. Right, we're going to get through this comment, and then we're going to have to say fuck off. I mean, we've got to about an hour and a half or something here. It's because you came in late, Nick. It's your fault. So he said, because they're not good enough to play Ten Hag's system, why do you think he brought in Anthony and Martinez and wants De Jong? Because they know how to play his system.
Yeah, but you can't just keep buying players that have worked with Ten Hag before. We'll just end up with Ajax, for God's sake. I mean...
I agree with you. I agree with you. You can't be doing that. But he needs the players that can play his system. It can be from a different team because, let's remember, Anthony and Martinez were not his players when he took over at Ajax. He brought them in because he knew he could do what he wanted them to do. So... ergo, we could buy somebody else that's not from Ajax, and he will know they can do what he wants them to do. And that's
he also needs to start investing in the youth players then as well. He needs to get players in that youth team that actually will play the way he wants them to play. Because I'm sorry, people that say you don't win anything with kids, they are the ones that are hungry for it. You see Maniau on the bench, he is hungry. Pelestri, when he comes on, he is hungry. Those kids are hungry to come on. So we need to invest in that as well. We need a whole fucking shake-up, quite frankly.
Ten Hag has said it, though.
What is that fucking screaming in my fucking ear?
They've got all... when he come in, he set up the whole youth system to be playing the style that he wants his first team to be playing. He's setting that up. He's putting the groundwork in. So he is that kind of manager. He's perfect for United in that sense. That's been our tradition. Youth coming through, winning things. We've got the youth. He's told them to start playing the way that he wants his first team playing. We just need the players now to be able to do it. Like I said, we've seen 20%. Everyone shows the all 10 Hag foul. Yeah, but it's 20%. If you think we're doing good now, at 20% 10 Hag ball, wait until we've got 100%. It's a different ball game altogether. Final words, Ben?
Can't come soon enough.
Well, first, you can't come soon enough. They need to make a reaction. They really need to react to Sunday. I think this week is a make or break for a lot of these players, especially the 11 who played. Well, yeah, the 11 who played yesterday, you know, you've got to now really show what you're all about up here and not let yesterday affect you. Just that's it. Go to play Real Betis. It's going to be a different game, but we need to be winning that 3-0 just to breed confidence into the team.
Yeah. Nick, are we winning it on Thursday?
We just
Payback.
we have
Prove a
to.
point.
I think that Ten Hag will demand a win. I think that the players will be licking the wounds and they'll want to prove themselves. I don't think we're going to have any problems on Thursday. I think that this was probably the kick up the backside that they needed, but I would like to see a shake up of the team.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you want to give us your Twitter handle, mate, if anyone wants to follow you, if they actually cared about what you said or was interested? Or
you put it on there.
I'll put it on the screen for you, mate. So it's all there. It's set up for you. It's set up for you. It's on the screen.
Yeah, if they want to follow, they can follow. Whatever. It's up to them. I'm not reading it out. If they want to follow me, they can follow me. It's up to them. I'm not bothered. If you want to,
That's if you don't know, it meant too many numbers for you.
I fucking don't. You're right. I've had that many fucking accounts. I think I'm on the 12th account. Nick's known 4 of him.
Yeah. Nick, do you want to give yours?
I think probably know 6 of them. Yeah, just on the screen, it's Man U Nick 1.
Oh, actually,
Man U Nick 1. Well, whatever. People know that if they're on Twitter.
Cheers, guys. Great having you on, Ben. Nick, thanks for coming on finally. Love it.
See you later, mate. Take care.
Yeah, no worries.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you very much, guys.
See you later.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Like, subscribe, share the video. Let's go. Great show. We had a laugh. Ben didn't quite have the meltdown I thought he would, but it was still a good guest to have on. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching Mufc Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.